Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to One for Review. I'm your host, Grant, as always, here to talk about Nagatoro. More specifically, Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, which is a very, very famous manga. I'm sure you guys have seen me put this on screen every now and again in the background, just because I like it. But yeah, Nagatoro, this was a manga that came out a long time ago. They finally made an anime about it. Finally, was this a high request? I'm pretty sure it was. Anyways, let's talk about it. The story summary goes as follows. Every day, Naoto Hachioji is teased relentlessly by Hayase Nagatoro, a first-year student he meets one day in the library while working on his manga. Oh no. After reading his story and seeing his awkward demeanor, she decides from that moment on to toy with him, even calling him senpai, instead of using his real name. Now, at first, Nagatoro's relentless antics are more bothersome than anything and leave him feeling embarrassed, as he is forced to cater to her whims. However, as they spend more time together, a strange sort of friendship develops between them, and Naoto finds that life with Nagatoro can even be fun. But one thing's for sure, his days will never be dull again. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Why? Oh my god, my chair, it's broken, ladies and gentlemen. My chair is officially broken. I've had it for 6 years, and it broke just today on camera. That is pretty amazing. Alright, today I want to highlight 2 VAs of Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. And those VAs are Uzaki Sumire as Nagatoro Hayase, Yamashita Dakai as Hachoji Naoto. Alright, so how does this 12-episode series from Telecon Animation actually fare out? I will say, before I continue this, I know his name is Naoto, but I will just call him Senpai just because that's literally what everyone calls him anyways in the show. So I'm just going to call him Senpai. Don't think it's weird. That's just what everyone calls him, alright? So, yeah, what did I think of the anime? As an adaptation, I have to say they did a really good job with Nagatoro. Mainly because I thought, especially Nagatoro, the voice actress they got to play her, was so spot on into what I actually imagined. Now, this is actually one of the few anime where I did read the manga. Didn't finish it, mind you, but I did read it. I think I stopped because I didn't think that their relationship was really progressing. Of course, I could be completely wrong. After all, I didn't finish it. But when it came to the actual portrayal of Nagatoro in this anime, I have to say it really did nail that voice that I had in my head of like this kind of really squeaky kind of voice of just an annoying kind of brat, always in the way, always yelling, always laughing. So I have to say she did a great job. The VA for Nagatoro did a great job. Now besides that, getting into the story of the anime, I mean, what do you expect when you get into Nagatoro? It's pretty much exactly what you'd think it is. The whole premise of the show for the most part is just each episode is a new day or week or whatever of where Nagatoro will come and bother Senpai. More or less, each episode consists of 2 different stories that will go on, of course, like most anime, I would say. And it usually just kind of begins with Nagatoro teasing Senpai. Now, one thing I didn't like about the manga is that I felt like their relationship never went anywhere, which is why I stopped reading it. So I have no context of whether it went anywhere. I don't think it did, personally. That's just my personal thoughts. But I could be very wrong, so maybe somebody in the comments will correct me. But one thing I will say is that here, I did feel like they did a better job of the pacing of showing a little bit more of where it could go. I did think they also did a really good job of recreating various scenes that I do remember. So I did like those instances. For the most part, they didn't change a lot. They actually stuck pretty close to the manga, which is pretty neat. And like I said, the story, it doesn't really get into an actual story towards the very end. Then there's an actual conflict. I believe it's like episode 10. There becomes a conflict where Senpai, this is a minor spoiler, I guess, where Senpai has to kind of prove that he is a true artist and that he is dedicated to the art club, and then Nagatoro, hijinks ensue. When it comes to these kind of anime that really don't have a strong plot necessarily, it really, to me, it's all about the comedic timing. because there's very little for me to latch onto, because most of the time I already know, a majority of the time I already know that they're not gonna show the characters get together in the end. They won't, because that tends to drag on. Very rarely are there anime or manga where the characters get together right at the beginning, and I love those, by the way. But, you know, for these, they like to tease it more often. So it's all about the comedy. It's all about the timing. And if it works, that's great. If it doesn't, it's insufferable, and I hate watching it. Nagatoro, I really liked it because of the comedy. It worked. I love the comedic timing. The animation did a lot, too, for all the comedic moments. It has a very silly, goofy animation, although a very well done animation, which I will get into the presentation. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the story. There is not much of a story, as you'd expect, but you know, it's just a bunch of different hijinks that go on. I do especially love how when I watch this show, as I watch many, I always think to myself, yes, so when are we going to get to all of the classic episodes that we need to hit? We need to have that beach episode. Obviously, we need to have the festivals, the summer festivals. We need to have... I actually thought of a sports festival this time, but it wasn't a sports festival, it was a club festival. It was a school festival in general, where all the clubs have to do things. Another trope in anime, you'll always see that. So I do have fun with those types of episodes. I do have fun seeing those kind of episodes all the time, just because it's entertaining. They do play off a lot of funny activities that will transpire. Of course, with the club thing, though, that takes place more at the end, where there's actually a conflict going on, so they don't focus too much on the club itself. But in terms of the beach episode, in terms of the summer festival episode, they go all out and hijinks ensue. As I said, the characters are immensely entertaining. I love all of them. Nagatoro is obviously the star because she is the funniest. She is the most clever. I love her friends too. Her friends were always great. Whenever they'd come in, I always thought they were really funny. And again, I think a huge part of that is that the studio really did a good job with just animating the show, because it looks good. It just looks good, period. I guess I'll get into a little bit of the presentation. The show looks good naturally. I love the designs. I love the art style. But it also just goes into zany goofiness a lot of the time, with some very creative faces and very creative, goofy little, you know, things that'll go on in the background. So I really like that. That really adds to the comedy for me. Senpai is also kind of a funny character as well. I mean, he's supposed to kind of represent just a loser who spends most of his time alone, but he has some funny moments as well. I thought he could be funny at times. Of course, his reactions are always priceless, but, you know, just in general, the things he'll do sometimes, it is funny. I also think it's kind of sweet how he originally goes from this guy who's like, I'd never want to date one of these people, to then he actually wants to have Nagatoro around constantly. Because, I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? She's fun. I mean, just, she teases, but who cares? So yeah, that's my thoughts on the story, and really that's my thoughts on the anime. I didn't really have too much to say for this portion of this anime series, just because, I mean, really, what can you say? It is what you would expect. It is good. It is really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. But there's, you know, if you're expecting more depth, if you're expecting a lot more plot, there is not a lot of it. Like I said, this is a 12-episode series. Most of it's just comedic. And then the last couple of episodes are taken a little bit more seriously, but even then, they are still played up for comedic laughs. So, I mean, if you're into this, if you're into Nagatoro, you know, teasing the hell out of somebody, bullying somebody, which, if I remember correctly, I think there was a little bit of a controversy. I don't know if there was. So I could be talking straight out of my ass right now, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing on the internet at some point about people were saying, like, how can we allow a show like this to exist? This just encourages bullying. And I don't know how you watch Nagatoro and think to yourself, yeah, that's the message that they're going for. Bullying is good. So yeah, forget about that. I don't know if that was a legitimately like concerning controversy that was going on. I don't know. I never looked into it. It was just one thing that I saw, and maybe I saw it wrong. That being said, it doesn't really change my opinion of the show either way, so good job, internet. Anyways, Nagatoro, don't toy with me. Please, stop it. You're annoying me. How is the show? My final verdict for Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, would have to be an 8 out of 10. I thought the show was great. I thought it was very charming, very funny, very colorful, very lighthearted. Nothing deep. I didn't go into this show thinking that I was gonna be, getting the mysteries of Nagatoro or whatever. Nothing. I didn't expect anything. I just kind of went into it thinking it was gonna be, hey, maybe it's a faithful adaptation of the manga that I used to read, that I stopped reading. Maybe it's faithful, maybe it's not. Let's see how it is. And it was much better than I expected. I was actually anticipating it every week just because the comedy was done so well and the casting was fantastic. My only complaints about the show, would be that there's no deeper plot. That would be my only complaint. But then again, what does that matter? That's not what they were trying to accomplish. Either way, I enjoyed the show quite a bit. So, there you go. 8 out of 10. What did you guys think of Nagatoro? Have you seen it? Have you heard about this controversy? Please, guys, tell me down below. Have you heard of this controversy? I'm very curious. If you have, tell me if you agree or if you disagree. I mean, if you agree, that would be kind of weird, but hey, I'll respect your opinion. Maybe you got something else that I don't. All right, maybe. Anyways, have you guys watched Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro? Did you love it, hate it, don't care about it? Are you even mad at me for even bringing it up? Let me know down in the comments down below. I love reading your guys' comments. It's an entertaining part of my everyday routine, especially when I get constant comments about how I was completely wrong about Girly Air Force, which that is the truth. I still get comments about that. Anyways, I'm your Grant. I keep saying that lately. I keep saying I'm your Grant, and I think it's because of something. I think it's because I'm remembering something else. But anyways, I'm your host Grant from One Fair Review. As always, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time on One Fair Review.